You know, we watched this show late at night on Tuesday at 10 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, which was 1 o'clock. All you fuckers had already seen the show, and huge threads. I got phone calls. Men called me and said, "Don't watch the show tonight. It sucks." I got emails. I noticed a 84-page thread on the board. And the show started. Out came the zombie. Vince has never laughed like this in his life.
No, I cannot maintain sitting up on the couch. I had to retire to the floor so I could properly roll back and forth and slap the ground.
You were on the floor.
Well, let's start. He came out. First of all, there was scary music, and the zombie came out. And for those of you who did not see the zombie, he didn't do that yet.
Yeah, we thought it was awesome up to there.
Yeah. He came out. He was dressed like a zombie in tattered clothes, covered in dirt. Shoot dirt, actual soil, not like dust, dirt. And he had kind of a mullet and a flannel and jeans, and he held his arms straight out in front of him and walked without bending his knees, and scary music was playing, and they introduced him as the zombie, and I was already chuckling. And he climbed into the ring, and he advanced toward the announcer, and he grabbed the microphone, and I said, "Oh, great, he's going to cut an undead promo." And then he said... That's where I lost it. That's where I could take no more.
That was the greatest thing ever.
I was... And I've thought about this long and hard over the past couple of days.
That distresses me.
Oh, no, I can't stop thinking about the zombie. two details here. One, I think, would have made it even funnier. And the other, I'm not sure. First of all, he should not have been the zombie. He should have been a zombie. One of millions of undead... a horde ready to advance and take over ECW. There should be an unlimited number of zombies running around.
I cannot believe how hard you've thought about this.
He should have been a zombie. And two, and this I'm iffy on, I may be mistaken here, but this zombie, as we would learn, he was very loquacious. He was very verbose. He said, "Ugh," about 17 times. And that was part of the humor, was that he would not shut up. He just kept moaning. But then I kind of think it would have been funnier if he had taken the microphone and gone, "Ugh."
He did a much better job than you.
And then just calmly handed the microphone back, and he just had that one thing to say. Regardless, this was beautiful. This was my favorite segment of the entire year, and I think I said to Tony it was the greatest moment of my life.
So Sandman came out and just beat the living hell out of the zombie.
I was totally down with that.
I was afraid for him, because he was really getting them pretty good with that stick.
He was killed. There was one shot in particular where he hit the zombie right in the face, and I thought...
he actually checked his face after he did it.
Oh, yeah, and he was holding his face the rest of the night. So the zombie got fucked up by the Sandman.
Sucks to be the zombie.
The zombie and the Sandman.
Well, has the Sandman fucked up a lot of people?
Oh, God, yes.
Yes.
Okay. That's what I figured.
He's also been fucked up several times, to be fair.
Sure. By the way, Nails, I think I fixed the feedback issue, but we're on with the show. So anyway, yeah, they had the deal with the zombie, and I thought that was fine. Okay, I have no problem with this. So then the next match was Kurt Angle destroying Justin Credible. Just killing the fuck out of this poor guy.
That headbutt.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Credible got a comeback. And when I say a comeback, I mean he hit one move of some kind. And he started getting up in Kurt's face, and so Kurt just hauled back and nailed him in the bridge of the nose with his forehead, and it was...
Yes, this
thing of beauty.
This was a beautiful match, and there were complaints that Credible was a former ECW champion. I gave the whole spiel in the newsletter. It don't matter. Justin Credible is drawing no money these days, and maybe it would have been best if they had not mentioned he was a former ECW champion. But this is a new ECW, and Justin Credible,
he's a dork.
He got about what he should have gotten here. No, I mean, he's been off TV forever. This was not a major deal. It was fine.
Everyone watching this, well, actually a lot of people watching it that maybe not be accurate, but a lot of people watching it said, "Hey, it's the guy who used to team with X-Pac."
Yes. So this was fine. And again, I was thinking, there's nothing wrong with this show so far. I mean, there are little things here and there, but... You can argue about the size of the building and everything like that, but you know, I'm looking at the writing, that sort of thing. So.
You did skip the opener, which was just a Raw angle on ECW.
That's right. I'd pretty much forgotten that, but that's.
Yeah. I don't have a problem.
It's not ECW. That's the key. Everybody has to understand, and In order to get this show off the ground, you need John Cena
and
Edge, and you need Raw stars, or this fucking show ain't gonna fly.
Yeah.
This will be Impact. So
this will be Sub-Velocity.
No, I think it'd still be Impact because there'd at least be names on there, and they're promoting it. They
are promoting it. No one knew about Velocity. That's true.
But this is what they need. They got a 2-8 because Raw was all about which Raw guys are going to show up on ECW.
Yes.
They didn't get a 2-8 just because this was fucking ECW Reborn.
This
was because they promoted the hell out of it and said Cena and Edge and some Raw guys were going to be there. It was a combination of factors, and they needed that. So I had no problem with that opening angle. And by the way, for those of you that read my thread on the board as I was doing live play-by-play sort of, that was as legit as it gets. I was initially so excited, and I was so happy for the zombie and everything like that, and then the show fell off a cliff. First, they had the woman who may be even more boring than Michelle McCool, if that's even possible, come out and attempt to strip and fail.
Fail miserably.
That was the saddest thing I have seen in a while. Why don't they just get a stripper to strip?
Yeah, they could not find they had to get a worked stripper.
Yes, they got a work stripper who couldn't take her own bra off.
She had clearly never stripped or perhaps even danced before.
No. So,
she was hot, but
that's exactly what I was going to say. She was hot, but you know what? The show's an hour long.
There's a million hot chicks out there.
And so I give that a thumbs down. I'm afraid to say. Well, thumbs in the middle because she was hot.
There's worse things I could watch. I just have no idea what the point was.
It's so non-extreme.
Oh, it's very non-extreme.
She couldn't get her bra off, and that was a little distressing.
Nails, you didn't watch a lot of ECW back in the day, but the idea was it was extreme. Was there anything extreme about this stripping routine?
No. Wrong channel. Probably needs to be on pay-per-view for adults.
Yeah, and even the pay-per-view, you'd have seen the exact same damn thing. So, anyway, then we had this Battle Royal. It was a gimmick Battle Royal. Weapons were allowed. There was just shit all over the outside of the ring. And since it was a Battle Royal, you could go between the middle rope or the bottom rope and go outside and get stuff. And then everybody kept bringing it back into the ring and hitting each other with it. And if you went over the top, you lost. And I thought, why don't you just go out there and get a gimmick in a garbage can or something and just stay out there till no one's left? Nobody was getting counted out. Nope. It was like, you fucking stupid bastards are going out there, getting shit, and then getting back in the ring just so you can get thrown over the top. They were hitting each other with just these extreme pie pans and shit like that. This was the worst. The worst. It was so bad. This more than anything else, just I just turned on the show at this point. I couldn't handle it.
I did not hate it as much as you did.
I hated it.
But that's about the best I could say. It wasn't a further example of them. ECW basically at this point has 4 stars, and they are Big Show, Kurt Angle, RVD, and Sabu. And I understand that Stevie Richards and Tony Mamaluke are not going to be the big stars, but when you don't even give them an entrance, you may as well have fans in the ring. You're telling people do not care about these men.
Yes, this was an all thumbs down segment. They put over Big Show as a monster, but of course
Big Show eliminated everyone except Sabu.
He got eliminated by the other monster. I can't even believe this man has a job. Big Guido, whatever. He's been under contract for months and months now. He's finally on TV, and wow, he is horrible. But
he's a big, ugly man.
He is a big, ugly man. So Sabu won, so it's Sabu and John Cena at the pay-per-view again.
Oh, by the way, yeah, there was, after the opening Raw angle, Heyman was angry and he gave a speech. And he talked about invading Raw again, which all I could think was, haven't we seen that for a month now?
Yeah.
And number 2, the winner of this Battle Royal would challenge Cena at Vengeance. So Paul Heyman, ECW GM, I guess, is now making matches for the Raw pay-per-views.
Yeah.
I got a quick stupid question.
Probably
sure.
Not stupid.
More of a history question.
All right.
But back in the day when I was sleeping on the couch.
Sure.
And Hall and Nash, what was their original characters? Ramon and...
Ramon and Diesel.
They both left WWF.
Yes.
And went to WCW, and they created an invasion angle.
Yeah.
And are we trying to recreate this about 6 different ways in the last 6 years?
Well,
is that what I keep seeing and hearing you guys talk about?
The answer to the question is definitely yes.
Because they're never going to recapture that, because then everybody, even some people, seem to think that it was legitimate.
Yes. Here's the deal. WCW went out of business because they did a lot of stupid things. But one thing they did right, at least early on, was an invasion angle. They had these guys supposedly from another company come in. They were from another company. They just couldn't use the name. They came in. They ran roughshod over everybody.
They were somewhat nameless for a while, correct?
They didn't have names. That's right, for a long time.
They were just the big guy and the medium-sized guy.
They eventually got names, that sort of thing. But the point is, it worked. And the downfall was, WCW never actually won in the
war.
end.
Yes.
They just kept losing forever till they went out of business. But the point is, WCW at least did this right. Vince McMahon has never done this right.
And he's tried several times in the
Well, I'm
past.
just wondering, they did it once. I mean, how many times is everybody going to fall for it? Well, not really fall for it, but how many times is it acceptable? I guess.
Well, the answer to the question is, when something works in wrestling, it gets repeated for 50 years, whether it ever works again or not.
We're going to beat it to death.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you followed wrestling, there's still Montreal. Shawn Michaels or Vince McMahon screwed Bret Hart in Montreal, and we've been hearing about it now for almost 10 years.
Almost a decade.
And coincidentally,
a third of my life.
A year and a half in advance, they made sure to book the 10th anniversary of that Survivor Series in Montreal because they'll never fucking forget it. It'll just go on forever. So that's the answer to your question, dude.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So, by the way, what did you think of the first ECW show?
The first one we're just talking about?
That's
Yes.
right.
It was. I thought it was great up until because I liked watching Angle squash that guy.
That was beautiful.
Up until the Royal Rumble, I thought it just sucked.
I thought
or whatever it's called.
I had to give the show as a whole a thumbs up just because of the zombie. And
Well, yes.
I mean, I seriously, I was driving home and I was laughing so hard I had to pull over and get it out of my system. But awesome.
Laughable. Whose idea was this?
Okay.
I like how Joey Styles adds laughable.
Yes. Okay. Number one, I'll never be able to hear the Cranberries again. Not thinking about the zombie. But getting off track of the zombie for a while.
You won't be able to.
No, you are. Yeah. I don't really want to. I'm trying to be sort of somewhat professional, but a lot of the people who did not like the show, and that was most people, their big complaint was it wasn't the old ECW. And we've talked about how that's not important and it's not going to be and it shouldn't be. But there are two complaints I saw that just stuck out with me, and I don't really know why. One of them was someone said that every ECW show should start with Joey Styles in the middle of the ring. And I thought, dude, in 2006, no one gives an F. No one turned the channel because Joey Styles is not in the middle of the ring, so that didn't matter. Number two, and this actually amused me much more, people who are saying that they need to get out of the SmackDown arenas and into the smaller buildings because ECW just looks wrong with this many fans. ECW should not be this successful, damn it. It should be small and hanging on by a thread.
Yes.
Wait a second, didn't they die?
They did, in fact, die.
Well, Scott Williams made that point. He wrote the book about the death of ECW, the hardcore history, and he pretty much said if they try and run it like the old ECW, that one died.
Yes.
It was not a success in any way. So it was an artistic success, is what it was. It was something that a lot of people liked.
The original run.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that made no money and went out of
Yes.
business. It was a starving artist.
Which a lot of artists
Sure.
have been like that.
And now the idea is this is not supposed to lose money. This is supposed to make a lot of money for the company. And thus things are going to be very, very... Just kids, all you got to do is pretend it's called OVW.
VCW.
VCW.
Vince Championship Wrestling.
Vince Championship Wrestling or something like that.
Which
So
would make zillions, by the way.
anyway, I'll watch again next week because I have to. After the zombie, I think I just watch the damn show again. Anyway.
I'm going to watch it. If I was going to the SmackDown show next week, I would bring a zombie sign.
Oh, you'll see them.
Oh.
You don't know how
I may dress
over-
up like the zombie.
The zombie has gotten over to an incredible degree. It's all over YouTube. This is spreading.
And by the way, I don't want the zombie to do anything different. I want him to come out, make his entrance. Yes, he may eventually learn the word brains. I'd accept that. but I wanted to come out to his music, cut his promo, and then an ECW guy will come out and kill him. It can even be the Sandman every week. I'm fine with that.
Just a different... it'd be fine, actually.
Sandman or Balls or whatever. I don't care. I just want the zombie.
Sure.
I'll watch for that.
Okay.
Get down here, motherfucker! Bring it on, motherfucker! Come on! Come on! You got the balls to throw a chair? Come on in the ring, you bitch! Sit your Opie Cunningham ass down, bitch! I dare you, jump! Jump, motherfucker, jump! Jump! I promise you, you won't get kicked out. I promise. You better not touch him. Jump! Come on, jump! You little pussy! Would it help if I told you that I her last night? Would it help if I told you that your mother was a $2 blower? And would it hurt if I told you that Big Dick used to fuck your father in jail? Ladies and gentlemen, I give you 100-pound pussy.
So, as promised,
Holy smokes.
ECW on Sci-Fi 1, June 13th, 2006.
You know, one of the reasons we got talking about this was we were watching the 2007 Royal Rumble, and, like, Sandman's in it, and Sabu. And I'm like, I fucking don't remember a thing about these guys. And then I got thinking, did we ever even watch ECW on Sci-Fi? I mean, I presume we must have. Like, I couldn't remember a thing about it. And then someone starts posting in the board all the different things, like the zombie and Kelly and everything like that. And then I remembered everything. But, man, I mean, this, aside from the zombie, you want to talk about a forgettable show? This was a goddamn forgettable show. And this was the premiere. So they will only get more forgettable from here.
Forgettable is a good word. Because I remember people ripping the show to shreds. People were, like, angry.
It's not that bad.
I thought it was significantly better than a 2017 episode of Raw. Not just because it was shorter. The only thing that was really...
Crowd's hot.
Crowd's hot. Everything had a point. Everything accomplished that point. The main event was boring and pointless.
The reason it was hated was because everybody wanted it to be an old ECW show from the 90s.
Yeah.
Okay, it was never going to be that, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Even the zombie... Well, we'll get to it.
But my favorite criticism of when the show debuted was they can't do this show... Because after SmackDown, I think. But regardless, they can't do these shows in WCW buildings. The buildings have to be much smaller. And I laughed and laughed because this person says it's not an ECW... It's not an authentic ECW show if it's successful and popular. It has to be low rent and tiny and not make any money.
And a money loser. Yeah, that's a great idea.
That's important.
Not to mention, you think if Heyman could have run a 15,000-seat arena, he wouldn't have?
Exactly. So we opened with clips from One Night Stand, I guess 2 nights before. It was John Cena defending the WWE title against Rob Van Dam in the main event. And Rob wins thanks to interference from Edge. And then on Raw, Cena gets into it with Edge and some of the ECW B-teamers. He promises to show up on this show. So, much to my surprise, they have left in Drowning Pool for the ECW theme song.
We had Let the Bodies Hit the Floor. We had the original ECW awesome old school theme.
Yep. And then Rob Van Dam came out.
Yeah.
The first 5 minutes of the show had Bodies, the ECW theme, and Rob Van Dam's theme. I defy you to find me a wrestling show with 3 better songs in the first 5 minutes.
And Joey Styles and Taz doing commentary.
Joey Styles and Taz and commentary.
Very, very ECW-ish at this point. It was an awesome show for the first 3 minutes.
Yeah. Paul Heyman comes out, still got the leather trench coat, the ponytail pull through the baseball cap.
Here's some history for you, everybody. He calls out RVD. Rob Van Dam of ECW fame. He reminds us he never won the ECW World Heavyweight title. But now, because he beat John Cena for the WWE title, he's handing him the ECW title.
Yes.
The one ECW World Heavyweight title that Rob Van Dam had in his entire career was handed to him.
Yep.
So, listen, everybody. If you love ECW, I'm going to hear about it tomorrow, but everybody makes fun of Ronnie Garvin's first promo after he won the NWA title. This fucking promo by Rob Van Dam, like, it wasn't horrible. It was absolutely no good. He's just, hey.
It's another Tuesday.
I got the belt.
2 belts.
I'll take both. Yeah, Heyman gives him the new ECW World Heavyweight title.
He's got the John Cena WWE belt over one shoulder.
Yes.
Heyman says, here's your new ECW belt. And he pulls out, this had to be a replica.
I thought it was a toy.
Please tell me this cheap-ass piece of crap was a toy. The plates are so light, the leather's not even bending.
Yes, the leather, it looks like pleather.
Yeah.
It was just, what was this?
I don't know. So Rob takes both belts.
We're already burying the show we said wasn't so bad.
Well, it's funny. He takes both belts. Fans begin to chant, throw it down. I was trying to figure out which belt they meant. So Rob says he's going to defend both belts. Talks about how great it is to have this ECW one. And also he says, this one spins. And I laughed. Out come Edge and Lita.
Listen, I apologize in advance, okay? There's no other way to say it. Her tits were everywhere.
Yeah.
Kimona Wanalea was blushing. Could not believe this made television. How did they stay in? Can you explain this to me?
Tape is a magical thing.
I don't believe tape. It's impossible. Maybe crazy glue. Maybe Sabu had some crazy glue that he was gluing his head back together again after getting busted open somewhere, and he glued this dress onto her. I couldn't even believe it. This business is so different nowadays.
That was so clear.
What a time machine.
Throughout this show, that was clear. So, Edge and Paul and Rob and Lita actually are all very friendly with each other.
Well, I guess it is unless you watch Total Divas. Then it's exactly like this show.
Shots to the head on Total Divas?
Well, no, but like boobs and thongs everywhere.
Oh.
That's the real show, I hear.
Doesn't sound so bad. So Edge thanks Paul for inviting them on. Says he has a lot of respect for Rob. They have a lot in common. They both won the Money in the Bank match. They both cashed in. They both broke the glass ceiling. It would be an honor, he said, to challenge Rob Van Dam for the WWE title at Vengeance. And they shook hands, which is a challenge for Rob because he had so much gold. Like the best thing Rob Van Dam ever did was carry 2 belts at once and make a show of how, oh geez, it's so awkward with all this gold on me. But they shake hands, and then Edge immediately drops Rob with a spear. He and Lita leave through the crowd. Actually, a mixed reaction for all that. And then also a mixed reaction for Cena appearing behind Edge in the crowd. Eventually, Edge realizes he is there. They have a giant fight. Cena whips his ass. Cena and Rob are arguing over who gets to beat Edge first, and they go face to face, and Edge low blows RVD, pushes them into each other, and runs away. Cena punches out Heyman. What a dick. He leaves. And then the ECW B-teamers ran out. Thank God you're all here. Way to pay attention.
Well, exactly. The ECW locker room were the B-teamers, and there were WWE superstars all over the show. That's why people hated it.
That too.
But if you take that out of the equation, it wasn't that bad for a while.
This is a fun segment. Heyman gives his guys a pep talk backstage. If this is how Raw wants to play, fine. We're going to take ECW to Raw next week. Brian, do you recall the first time we watched the zombie segment?
Dude, it's just as funny now.
I don't remember if we were doing podcasts then or not.
We were.
Someone can look that up if they can find it.
We absolutely were. We had the drop everywhere.
That's true.
You reviewed it on that podcast and lost your mind.
I have never laughed in my life. In my life, I have never laughed harder than I did when the zombie cut his promo. Sitting on your couch in your apartment in Woodinville, and he goes to the mic, and I said or thought, please just start moaning. And then he began to moan, and I broke. I was shattered. I was left a ruined man, rolling on your floor, laughing, tears coming out of my eyes. So for those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, spooky music played. And I actually want this organ theme they had. Out comes a guy wearing jeans and a flannel shirt with pale makeup on, covered in shoot dirt.
Yeah. This was definitely not worked dirt.
No. He lurches down the aisle, up the stairs into the ring. He demands the microphone. He turns to the hard camera, and he just groans. And he turns to the other side of the ring, and he just groans. And this is off like a minute. He's just groaning constantly, like a zombie, because he's a fucking zombie. I'm not going to try to do the imitation. I can't do it justice. It was great. Sandman's music hit, which is not Enter Sandman, unfortunately. Not that they used it on ECW and Sci-Fi. So as he's coming out, it occurs to me, you know what? If they had actually had the zombie on there when Walking Dead first broke out, it'd been huge. There's a zombie. Sandman hit him right in the head with his cane as hard as he possibly could. Zombie goes down. Sandman is whacking him with the stick repeatedly. Every time he hits him, a new cloud of dirt rises up. It's a total pigpen moment here on ECW and Sci-Fi. And then Sandman pulls him up, hits the White Russian leg sweep for the win.
I got some for you. There you go. The zombie. There's Brent there at the end for some reason.
Brent showed up at the end for some reason.
You know, I don't want to I don't want to bring down the show after that funny song and everything like that, but the ECW zombie is dead.
Yeah.
I actually knew him for like the last 3 or 4 years of his life. You know, when I first got Facebook, I just like friended every single person that sent me a friend request.
Sure.
I just went friend. I didn't know who any of these people were. I didn't even look at their names. I just friended everybody. They wanted to be friends. There's so many people that I'm friends with on Facebook that I'm like, I didn't even know I was friends with this person on Facebook. One of them ended up being the ECW zombie. And, 4 or 5 years ago, he Facebook messaged me and we talked on and off for, I guess, the rest of his life, really. And I think one time, I don't think he ever was on Figure 4 Daily, but I think one time he was scheduled to be on, but he no-showed. Anyway, seemed like a super nice guy. Died at 38.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not blaming the Sandman for killing the zombie, but oh my God, Sandman beat the fucking shit out of this guy with this cane. He fucking whacked him right in the head, and the guy fell down, and he whacked him in the face repeatedly with this cane, beat the shit out of him, and pinned him. Also on this show, I might add, there's a match with Just Incredible that we're going to talk about. You know who else got his ass kicked on this show? Just Incredible. And you know who just a couple of weeks ago had a very, very public fall from grace? Just Incredible, who's also had a very tough last couple of years. The Battle Royal here, these dudes are beating the shit out of each other with stuff. Balls Mahoney is dead. Sabu's had problems. A lot of these guys have had problems. It's not good to get your ass kicked like this. That's my point.
Not like this,
It's sad.
Over and over, by the way. This is not a one-time thing. This is every week and sometimes every night. So yeah, there's a lot of that when you watch, especially from the 90s. I guess this is 2005. 2006, excuse me, but yeah.
All I'm saying is if you're a wrestler out there and you're like doing really, really stupid shit, like it catches up with you. That's all I'm saying.
I feel like for this next segment, I should just read what she said.
You want to go first or you want me to?
I need to go first.
Kelly promo. She's an exhibitionist. Vows to take off all of her clothes for us tonight, then fondles her breasts. A lot has changed in 10 years.
I miss anything?
Hi, my name is Kelly, and I'm an exhibitionist, which means I'm going to take off all my clothes for you tonight. And then she hugged her boobs.
If I recall correctly, they just called her Kelly for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and maybe months. They never gave her a last name. And then finally, they gave her a last name, Kelly.
Kelly.
Such a fucking weird business.
Like 30 writers on staff.
Dude.
He had clips from One Night Stand.
Why did she need a last name? I don't know. Why couldn't she have just been Kelly?
It's not like there's not 100 other one-named women on the show.
Yeah, what's Bailey's last name?
Apparently Bailey.
We don't know. God damn, that's a good question now.
Martinez. Clips from One Night Stand of Jerry Lawler slapping Joey Styles, then going to the ring for his match with Taz.
God damn it, there is no last name for Bailey. I mean, I've just never thought about it. Shouldn't she have a last name? I mean, is there another girl on the roster who actually doesn't have a last name?
Asuka.
I guess so.
That is true, though. You're right. They've been doing last names from the women a lot more.
Everybody has a last name.
There was just
Dana Brooke, Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks,
Becky Lynch,
Mickie James. I guess Tamina Snuka. Yeah, Bailey's
Nia Jax,
just
Natty
Bailey.
Neidhart. Back in the day, it was just Tiffany or Sunny. Who the hell else was there? I forget. Was it Christy Hemme or was she? I think she was just Christy for a long time. Wasn't she?
She was Christy Hemme.
I forget. Regardless,
it's driving me nuts now.
Joey Styles jumped on Lawler's back. Lawler threw him down. Taz choked Lawler out. Somehow, the match with Taz and Jerry Lawler, Joey Styles was the only one who took a bump. Kurt Angle versus Just Incredible.
Oh my God! So for those of you that don't recall, Kurt was an absolute fucking mess here, and he was gone from the company like 2 months later, and then hired by TNA, which was a scandal that they would hire a guy that WWE basically thought may die at any time. Came out here and just killed Just Incredible.
You take all that context out of it and just watch this segment in a vacuum. This is like the greatest thing I ever saw. Angle's destroying Incredible, taking him down at will.
You know what this was, Vinny?
Yeah.
This was the opposite of Sonya Deville, where I didn't buy one thing she did for 1 second. Kurt Angle came out here, I watched this, and I thought he should be in the UFC.
Yeah.
Even though in real life, he'd get killed.
Yeah.
But you know what? The way he carried himself and the way he did this match, he convinced you that he was the baddest motherfucker in the world.
Not a doubt in my mind.
Nobody's beating Kurt Angle in a shoot. It's impossible. That Kimura was bullshit.
He took this guy apart, took him down, got the mount, bullied him forever, suplexed him here and there, suplexed him out of the ring. Incredible got angry and shoved him, so Kurt fired back with a Shibata headbutt. Got a rear naked choke with body scissors for the win. Absolute carnage. And then...
ruined this guy.
And then... Angle takes a mic. Calls out Randy Orton. I made you tap out of One Night Stand. I'm going to make you tap out of Vengeance too. Because I'm the face of the new ECW. And you know what? I believed him.
Sure as shit did.
He was a terrifying killer here.
Gee, Christmas. Only problem was he walked to the back and he's just glassy-eyed and...
well...
not walking too well.
It was the Kurt Angle of 2006.
Yikes.
Yeah. Heyman did a promo backstage, speaking right into the camera, which looks totally weird after years of guys not being allowed to do that anymore.
You should be watching Raw. It's all changed.
Has it now?
Matt Hardy staring straight at the camera being broken.
That's true.
Ray.
It'll change a lot of things for Matt. So, he says, tonight everything he had planned was out the window. He's booking a 10-man, he did say 10-man, Extreme Battle Royal with all weapons legal. So I assume, like, firearms.
It was almost 10.
It was 10-ish.
I was anything you can get in the building. Like, you can't get a gun in the building. This is a WWE show with security out front. And maybe you could sneak that in, but no one did. Tank Abbott wasn't there.
The winner would face Cena at Vengeance and would also be part of the crew invading Raw.
Or Big Al. Was that Tank Abbott's buddy with the knife? Big Al? I think it was Big Al.
I remember you talking about it. I don't remember the guy's name.
I think it was Big Al. Find out.
Coming up next is me, Kelly. And I'm going to show you all of my assets.
That's what she said, and then bent over. Yeah, it was Big Al. I knew it.
Thank God we got that straight. Now, who threatened to murder the other night?
Tank Abbott threatened to kill Big Al. He put a knife up to his neck.
And said, I'll fucking kill you or something.
Something like that. I don't think you're allowed to do that.
No.
You are.
He said this on... No, you're not.
Well, you're
You're really not.
He did it.
Well, he's threatened. You're not supposed to. You got away with it. Don't threaten to kill people, everyone. Especially not on a camera with, well, I was going to say thousands, but dozens of people watching on pay-per-view.
Believe it or not, Vinny, it was thousands.
So things I totally forgot about.
Do you realize that in their entire existence, TNA only ran 2 pay-per-views that did more buys than the worst pay-per-view WCW ever ran?
Oh, I totally buy that. Not a doubt in my mind. Fucking Kevin Thorne.
Oh, see, Vinny, I just watched the 2007 Rumble that he was in.
Yeah.
So I got to jump on you.
I guess so.
And I had the same reaction when he came in for that Royal Rumble that you did watching him here.
There's a vampire, everyone, just hanging out outside the building in ECW.
Yeah.
He looks up at the sign, the reader board, whatever the hell they call it. He smiles, and he's got fucking fangs.
People didn't like this.
This was dumb. And you know what? We've been burying the Brood for weeks now on the Retro Raws. They are much better vampires than this guy.
Oh, yeah. Not even close.
Worlds better.
Can I talk about Kelly stripping?
Well?
I want to read some of my notes here. So, for those of you that don't recall what Vinny just said, she said that after commercial, and by the way, for you youngsters out there, I'm not making any of this up. She said, after commercial, I'm going to come out and I'm going to strip.
Show you my assets, she said.
My assets. Yeah. They go to commercial, and when they return, she strips.
Yes.
She's there.
She comes out.
By the way, a little stat for all of you, okay? Here in 2017, Kelly is 30 today.
Now, 30 in 2017.
Yes.
Yeah.
So go ahead and do the math.
This show's 11 years old.
She was 19. She's out there, and she is in see-through panties, a black bra. I am praying my wife does not walk into the room.
I had the same thought.
If she walked into this room...
Our wives had dinner tonight.
Trying to explain what was going on. She goes, and she turns her back to the camera, which was when I first noticed that's see-through panties right there. And she reaches behind to undo her bra strap. And she reaches behind. And she struggles. Vinny is red right now, everybody, I might add. She can't get this fucking bra unstrapped. How? I don't know. Does she not put it on every day? Clearly she does. I watched this routine. Slides the straps down her shoulders. Has her boobies in her hands. And then it's over.
That was it.
There was no angle.
No.
They delivered virtually exactly what they promised.
They did.
She just stripped for 5 minutes.
They did all they could do and not get kicked off Sci-Fi. That's what happened. That was 3 minutes.
This company is so different today.
It was 3 minutes of TV
if
time.
I have to see that fucking video package where Stephanie McMahon talks about the Women's Royal Rumble one more time, I will. I don't know what I'm going to do. But it's certainly a much different company nowadays than it was back then. This was certainly pre-Stephanie McMahon inventing women's wrestling.
It was.
And then Taz says, I've never seen anything like that. It's like, oh yeah? Well, you should come to the fucking convention.
Extreme Battle Royal.
Extreme Geek Battle Royal, Vinny. Can I name these geeks?
Can you? It's a good question.
Tommy Dreamer, Sabu, a very fat and flabby Al Snow, which if you've seen Al Snow lately, I don't know how he was so fat and flabby 11 years ago. Stevie Richards, Little Guido, Big Guido, who I don't think was supposed to be in it. I guess he was because he was one of the last two. But, like, he's number 11. He came out like he was just accompanying Little Guido, but then he got into the ring. Tony Mamaluke, Balls Mahoney, Big Show. Excuse me, Big Show? Yes, the Big Show. Road Kill, and Danny Doring. What a bunch of geeks.
Like 2 minutes in, you asked, who is that in the orange trunks?
Yes.
That's Danny Doring.
Yes.
So, yes, Show was part of the new ECW for, well, actually a long time, as long as it was around, I think.
Can you imagine?
Well,
you're on Sci-Fi now. Big Show.
Anyway, there's so much to talk about here. Like, if the idea was to hook then current WWE fans by bringing over a current WWE star like Big Show and putting him in the ring with all the old ECW guys and making them look cool, maybe you shouldn't have had Big Show throw out 9 of them in a row. I'm just saying.
You know, this might have been one of the reasons people didn't like this show.
In hindsight, that may have... Yeah. So they all ran away from him and went to commercial. When they came back, everyone was hitting each other in the head with weapons. Over and over and over again. Then Big Show threw out 9 men in a row in like 3 minutes. It's down to Big Show and Sabu. Big Guido was the last man Big Show threw out. He pulls Show's arm. Show still won't go out, and so Sabu does the running jump off a chair and hits Show with a chair, and Show goes out and Sabu wins.
Yeah, Sabu won. Mm-hmm. It was amazing because this was just like Royal Rumble 92, where, let's see, Hogan got thrown out, but then he grabbed Sid and was trying to yank him out.
Yeah, it was the same thing, actually.
That's exactly what happened here. And
so Hogan
Sabu
is Big Guido.
Yes.
Big Show is Sid.
Yes.
And Sabu is Ric Flair.
Yes.
Yeah.
But instead of just throwing the guy over like Ric Flair did, Sabu has to build a contraption.
He does.
Big Guido is yanking on the Big Show's arm. Sabu goes and he sets up a chair in the middle of the ring. The tug of war is still ongoing. Then he goes and he gets another chair. Then he says to the crowd, and I quote, "Shh, cannot make so much noise or the Big Show is going to know I'm setting up a fucking contraption behind him."
Yeah.
Then he runs, jumps off the chair, whacks Big Show with the chair, which causes Big Show to fall over and lose. Now listen, I know I don't have the best memory of this old ECW on Sci-Fi. Did they, please tell me they did a series of pay-per-view matches with Big Show and Big Guido? No? Wasted opportunity.
I don't remember that. I do remember looking back. I think it was like, I was just looking through old SummerSlam cards, I think it was. And one of the matches was Big Show versus Sabu. And my eyes bugged out like this happened on pay-per-view. There's major pay-per-view.
So much stuff. This stuff was so forgettable. I'll forget this show tomorrow. Except for the zombie. The zombie was not forgettable. And you know what? Let me say one more thing about the zombie. I didn't get to say what I wanted to say because I got sad talking about the death of the zombie, but it wasn't that bad.
It was awesome.
All it was just something to get over Sandman.
Yeah.
I know there were no zombies in the original ECW, but it was just a guy who came out to do the job and get killed by Sandman. And boy, did Sandman kill the guy.
He did.
So, the funny thing is, if it hadn't been the opener, if it had been in the middle of the show, or if they'd run like 4 weeks of shows and then they did this, nobody would have even remembered it.
No.
It happened to be the opener on the debut of the very first ECW on Sci-Fi, so it became legendary. It wasn't that bad.
It was awesome. It was great. I will also say, I realized Big Show is a giant, and thus is, he's a powerful, powerful man. When he press slammed Tommy Dreamer out of the ring through a table,
yeah, he's very strong.
He doesn't show it off like that very often, but man, he is a big, scary dude.
Yes. Well, that's the show, everybody. I want to thank you all for listening here today.